Do-do-do-do-do-do. Let's see if this works or if we just messed up even more. Oh, it looks like it's live. Yeah. Welcome to OreAni, the end of 2023 spring season. Woo! Yay! Can you guys believe it? I looked at our anime talks and we've been on here for 11 years.
Wow.
Wow.
Or at least that's our oldest video, marked with 11 years, so.
That's kind of cool, though.
I'd like to thank you all for being here with me for this long.
We should do like a prize giveaways and stuff.
Yeah. We lost a few. We lost Nick. Nick, he communicates with us every once in a while, so we hope he's out there still having fun watching every single show. Like he used
communicating by spirit.
Yeah. Sean's kind of disappeared, but I think he was always on the small side of the anime, so but hopefully he's still finding something to watch and have fun with. And Neo's around, but he works, and in his country is really hard to time with us. So, am I missing anyone? Big, I guess. I think that's
the
everyone.
OG crowd, Tripoli,
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah,
back in the
yeah.
day, Tripoli. Oh,
our German friend, gave
yeah.
us the European perspective.
I hope he's happy with the bottle of Nutella. 'Cause I think that's one thing he loved. But with us, like always, we have Jessica.
Hello.
We have baseball head Vinny,
Thanks for having me again.
Albert,
Happy July.
and Dragon.
Hello.
I just noticed more than half of us have glasses. I should get myself some glasses. But yeah, it's the end of the spring season, which was very, very heavy in anime. And I myself wanted to watch a lot more, but ended up not watching as much. But I think we had way over 50 titles. And we're just going to discuss the few that we all watched. Dragon, Vinny, and I probably have a few that we've watched together. And you can join us if you guys ever want to. On Discord, we have an anime watching session. But let's go ahead and get started. The first title is The Dangers in My Heart, also known as Boku no Kokoro no Yabai Yatsu. And what can I say about this show other than it's probably one of my favorite this season. It just made me feel really good as I watched it and really excited, and even to the point where I had to spoil myself and go find the manga to read it, and just it has a lot of these really nice sparkly what do they call it, the kira moments that just pulled you in. And it was a beautiful show. I don't know how else to say, because I don't want to give too many spoilers about what happens, because it's fun watching this encounter with Kotaro and Yamada, and how they go through their life and actually it's middle school, so they are kind of young. But it's very fun. Now, I do have some thing to mention that I guess some people got upset about it that I know of as friends, about how vulgar some of the comments are by some of the kids, by how they act, pervy and stuff. But I mean, that's always in anime. You can't really just... Sometimes it's there. But other than that, you have anything to add, Vinny?
Not the series in itself. This was definitely the more highly rated teenage school rom-com drama series. My only regret is that another series kind of got bumped into this season due to pandemics and what have you after the fact, and it ended up basically cannibalizing into each other's screen time or the fan base somewhat. So ideally, it should have been stacked up as having one of these rom-com series per season. I think that was the original intention, but it ended up kind of not happening that way. And I believe the second season is already announced, and understandably so, given how popular it is. That's pretty much it. And yeah, and Yamada is cute. And kind of dorky, and I like the fact that she likes to eat a lot.
You have anything to add, Dragon?
I think just like what Tank said, I also think this was one of my favorite animes from this season, just because of how, like, if you can, like obviously you deal with, because I believe are they high school or middle school? I think high school, right?
No, they're in middle school.
Not the middle school.
Middle school. Okay, so I mean, because they're like right at the pinnacle of, like, hormones and puberty, it's like you get all like the rowdy comments from the boys, but if you can like look away from that and just focus on the main two characters and their dynamic, it's just the most cutest and like wholesome thing. And oh my god, I remember me and Tank would just like keep rewatching some of the moments just because of how like heartwarming it is, and it just is solidified as like, oh, this is such a great romance, like middle school romance anime.
Yeah, this show didn't need tragedy to hook me in like other shows.
That's true. Tank usually needs tragedy to be like, oh, tragedy, I love it, I'm gonna watch it. But this doesn't have tragedy in it, and Tank really loved it. Like I remember I talked to Tank and he'd be like, oh yeah, this is like my third time rewatching this episode this week.
So the one thing I found interesting was the ending song. It's sung by this singer that I previously found on YouTube just as like a YouTube cover singer, and I had shared the music with some friends and like, wow, you should listen to the singer, this is really fun. And then I found out she sang that ending song, so I think that was really cool. That I don't know if she was an actual big singer before that or if she was trying to get into singing, but if that's the case, that she made it into an anime ending, it was kind of cool. I'll have to look more into that person later on, but the music in this show is also very wonderful. It's, the people that did a silent voice for the music, and so it has a lot of really soft tones that just bring this moment in the scenes that just kind of tiptoe around the emotions that are going on, and it's just really nice. So if you want a nice little, I think we can classify it as a rom-com, but very heartwarming, I would suggest that show. And it's on High Dive, so it is one of those harder channels. But other than that, we've got the next show, which I only saw like the first 3 or so episodes. Death Mount Play, or Death Mount Death Play. This is like an reverse isekai or something? Albert?
Yeah, so it is kind of a reverse isekai. I mean, it was interesting because of that angle, because it's been a while since we had a reverse isekai. But from my understanding, I forget the author's name, but it's the same author as Durarara. And so in this first season, the cast just keeps growing. He keeps adding more and more characters. I watched it to the end. Basically, I'm not going to continue because I don't feel like the season ended at any particular spot. There is just more and more characters. Even in the last 2 minutes of the show, they hint that there are more characters coming. All the mysteries about, the Polka-kun, who is the main protagonist, whose body is now taken over by, what do they call him in English? The guy that came from the isekai, right? All the mystery surrounding his assassination attempt and all the other characters who seem to actually have supernatural powers. There's a whole bunch of mystery from connections made from things in this world, in modern day Japan, to the isekai world. None of that is explained or solved, or even a small arc was not completed. So I just feel like I'm done with it. It's not interesting enough to continue. So it had a cool couple of first episodes, and then it just kept going with, I don't feel like it was good storytelling for a season. Maybe if this was from the get-go a 2-season arc, that might have been different, but I'm not going to continue.
All right. I think the reason why I stopped at 3 episodes is that even though it was a cool concept at the beginning, where we're not following the hero, right? We're following this other person that got isekai'd. It didn't seem to be like... It just seemed like he all of a sudden got a job doing some missions and stuff, which I was like, so is that just going to be the whole show now? It didn't really give me a clear direction of where he was trying to go. So I think that's why I kind of dropped it. Does he actually get a clear mission, like what he wants to do for his end result, or?
Not really. His mission always has been to, have a different life that is, I guess, normal, and when he ends up in modern day Japan, obviously he doesn't know what normal is. All the people he ends up associating with are not normal, and there's the whole mystery about, well, someone from his old world obviously had an influence or has come into this world, when and where, no idea who, no idea, but there's this whole thing, and now he's involved with trying to figure all of that out with very vague direction and goals. So that's why I don't think it's structured very well for adaptation. Maybe the light novel is better, but I don't know. As an anime adaptation, I was very unsatisfied at the end of season 1.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead and move on to the next title, which is also a reverse isekai. The Otaku Elf, also known as Edomaya Elf, where these elves have actually been summoned to our world, and now they live here in Japan as shrine deities, right? Mm-hmm. And do you want to start us off, Vinny? I think this is one of your favorite shows, right? Or
yeah, it's one of my favorite shows. I ran into this series manga by accident, and when I was told that this was gonna be adapted, this is gonna be fun. And to most part, they did it really well. The drawing was solid. It feels like reading a manga, but it actually has that anime feels to it. So there's some transition that's kind of done in ways that actually go, it's like not really what you expected to see in the manga, but here we are. As for the story goes, it's basically there's a three elves that was summoned by warlords during the warring era, the Sengoku era, and they became the designated deity for each warlord who summoned them. And one of them is Elda, who's currently residing in small part in the inner part of the Tokyo city as the resident deity for the last 400 plus years. And she has other two elves who's basically doing the same roles on different part of the country. The warring era is long over. They basically became a sort of living god at this point, and our main character, Elda, has become something of a shut-in who's completely content living the life of a otaku, collects the figures, plays the video games, spend way too much money buying stuff from the online stores, and she has a habit of blowing money through some strangest of all knickknack collections. And Miko, the shrine priest, who's serving her, is newly minted one who just turned 16 years old. And she's going through the whole motions of trying to get elders to at least the bare minimum of her duty as living the deity of her shrine. And that's basically the premise of the series. And the interesting part of this series is that because Elda has been living in this world for so long, she has all this knowledge from the olden days that people don't really realize, or how certain things that evolved from the posters to some of the food items, or even the courier services, delivery services. She has a lot of this useless random knowledge that people don't really realize it, but she's able to actually explain it through in a complete ways, given that she's been there for so long. And it's funny to see some of the knowledge that she accumulated was based on her actual experience that nobody knew all about it, or is the how she acts under influence of certain things to become the way it is now. And she has her own doing such thing. Otherwise, there's really no serious conflict or anything. This is very much a sort of sliced life, lighthearted drama with comedies mixed in there. So if you're not looking for something about action heavies or some suspense driven plots, this will be like probably a good series to watch. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah. Also, the information, like you said, they tell you is really fun, and the way she tells those stories, she also gives you a lot of really funny examples to make it easy to relate to for our time. Like, there was this one story she was talking about the lanterns and why they have the symbols on them, because she kind of explained it like they were the form of business cards back in the day, in a sense, where you would put your crest or a saying on there so that people knew who you were and stuff when you're walking at night with your lantern. And so the storytelling that she would go through with each of these small stories were really interesting and just were really funny, and seeing the other girls react was really fun as well.
You can tell from some of those tidbits that the creators spend a lot of time researching some of these folklores in order to be able to incorporate into Elda's knowledge bases.
Mm-hmm. But
because a lot of times it's something from the end of the Edo era, from the 1800s and early 1900s, but then some of this knowledge goes way back into 1600s, just after he was summoned into this world. And those are kind of knowledges that you don't really know just by just looking up in Google somewhere. I think something that you actually have to do some serious research to be able to not only understand that, but to be able to incorporate into her conversations and stories.
Mm-hmm. And although there are 3 elves, we do see them periodically, but regardless, it seems that every single elf has their own vice, which is kind of funny. It's like there's no perfect elf. So we got Elda, which is, of course, our shut-in, our otaku who doesn't want to leave. There's this other elf that we end up meeting later that has a big gambling addiction. And so it's always funny because she's always trying to escape her Miko to find some place so she can go gamble and have fun. And the last elf, I can't remember what she is, but she's like seems to be like very childish, even though she's the oldest one, I think. But she looks very young, but like a little kid.
Is that the dark elf you're talking about?
Yeah.
I think the dark elf is older than Elda by 1 year. That's why she's insisting that Elda address her as an older sister. And Hyra, that's the oldest one by about 100 years. She's the one with the gambling addiction.
Oh, yeah. But it's funny because all of them have their own little problems that each Miko has to deal with. So it kind of brings the Mikos together when they meet each other.
They go through the whole sessions of venting at their useless elf deities.
But and then also all of the Mikos also have their own somewhat problems as well. I think as you watch the show, you'll slowly realize that their ambitions and their wishes are kind of also a little askewed. But other than that, I think it is a really highly recommendable show because it's a nice slice of life that is not too serious, that you can just watch and relax. And even if you're not really paying attention 100% there to what's going on, the little stories that they do give you are very entertaining. Excuse me. Anyone want to say anything else about Otaku Elf? Nope. Okay, so we'll go to the next title, which is everyone's favorite thing to hate. I gotta pull this up because it's a really long name. Isekai de cheat skill wo te ni shita ore wa genjitsu sekai wo mo moso. I think that's Tsuru. Level up wa jinsei wo kaeta. Some of the title was hidden behind some. So you can't have your isekai without having Kirito. So here's Kirito's voice actress as the main protagonist in this show. And I have to say, the last episode is this is one of the only shows I saw the very last episode too. Because I wasn't watching it with the group, I was watching it on my own. And that last episode is awesome. You got still frames, panning still frames, action noises with still frames. It's like they ran out of time or money or something. And it was just so bad as we got to the end. Because you could see there was a lot of action that was supposed to be happening with this big battle, but you saw absolutely nothing. Thank you, Niyoyama. But I have been reading this manga online, and this anime's gone beyond where the manga has been that's up to, so it's kind of fun to see a little bit more into it. And they did tone down the fan service a lot from how the manga is, so it does have that. But this is slightly different isekai in a sense that although he goes to another world, he's easily able to go back to his world. So he goes through this gate or door that's in his house that he inherited from his grandfather, I believe, to go to this other world where he eventually kills a monster, which levels up, which changes his life by changing his physical appearance and everything, because he used to be what he would consider unflattering, which was. And as he goes through this other world, he slowly starts gaining more confidence because of his skills and stuff. But it's just it's not recommendable. That's all I'll say. But I watched it for you guys.
It's one of those series where if you're a serious isekai junkie or isekai collector in hope that you can claim the trophy of I watched every isekai there is to know, then yeah, by all means. It's not the worst looking series. Actually, it is one of the better looking series, per se. I do have a weird issues with how the characters are designed and drawn. Kind of oddly reminds me of some of the hentai games. I don't know why, but it does. Maybe the eyes. As far as the storyline goes, it's your typical, there's a good-hearted loser became the overpowered, do-it-all, know-it-all, can do-it-all kind of thug, and, all that wonderful things falls on his lap kind of thing, harems and what have you. So it's clearly aimed at, I don't know, those early teeny boppers who kind of goes into this whole Chunibyo syndrome kind of people. But if you kind of grew out of that, this is really not the series you want to watch it.
Would you would you agree that last episode was really bad though?
Yes. Very good.
Because I heard you say it was good. I'm like, wait. Did you see that last episode?
No, not in that way. No. No, it's not good in any condition.
I'll admit the character designs and stuff were really sharp and everything. It's just, yeah. Not much else to say about that show except for don't watch it. Isekai One Turn Netchun is another, not watch it. And this next one, which is a favorite show of mine to watch because it's so bad that it's become fun, which is the what was the translation of this? My life with my smartphone in another world, or something weird like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. In another world with my smartphone.
Ah, yes.
So yeah, this is season 2. So if you saw season 1, you're probably and you liked it, you'll probably be like, yay, season 2. Let's continue watching this. As far as I'm concerned about how far they are with the light novel, it seems they're all the way up to book 10 or 11. Or maybe not that far, actually, now that I think about it. Maybe it's around 9 and 10. But it's been a while since I've read it. But it's just the same thing, just more girls added to the harem. And so you have this one boy with I swear 7 girls around him now. And as he continues on, using his smartphone to save the world and solve all the problems, it's just, I don't know. It's just like I said, it's trash, but it's my favorite trash.
I will not say one's trash is another's treasure.
But other than that, I guess I won't say much else because, either you're watching or you're not. That's all I can say about that right now. And I can't wait for season 3. Woohoo!
Season 3, no.
Dude, they're up to 21 books, I think.
It's still very popular. It's always ranked in top 10 in the last couple of years. which boggles my mind.
So next up is a show that I was interested in, but I didn't finish or get to watch it much. I kind of want to go back and finish it now. Juko, wait, how do you say Juko Kuraku?
Yeah.
What does that translate? Hell's Gate, right? Something like
Hell's
that.
Hell's
Paradise.
Oh,
Paradise.
Paradise. There it is. Hell's Paradise, yeah. I think I only saw the first 4 episodes, so I'll let you all take it. So Jessica.
Yeah, so I've watched it. I'm not sure if 13 is the last episode because
13 is the last one, I think, because then
Really?
they announced season 2 already. So
wow, I'm shocked because at the end of the 13th episode, there's no thanks for watching or end title card or anything, and the place that it decides to end doesn't feel like a good place to end. It's sort of in the middle of an arc.
yeah, it's a weird ending position, but I mean, I guess they're already confirmed for a season 2, so it's like, I guess it's like whatever. I mean, at least we know it's gonna continue. It's not like shit. Like, what do we do now? Like, we're just
Yeah.
left with this.
Oh yeah, I would be really upset if this was all we got. But I really liked this one. I've made no secret that I like violent anime. You throw a ninja in there and have a death battle, and it's just my jam. It's totally my jam. One thing I'd like to point out is the intricacy of the costumes and how good they look. There's a lot of consistency in the animation, which is really amazing considering the costumes. Sagiri in particular, her obi has these sort of ribbons. It's not one huge rectangle. It's got these little diamond pattern, the way the ribbons are tied. And she also has ribbons in her hair, 4 or 5 ribbons that are constantly flowing alongside her with her ponytail. So this was a visual feast for me, and it's one of the few anime that I watched to completion this season. Really liked it. And I want to read the manga now.
I actually was trying to read the manga, and then like the thing is, like sometimes like I would be doing other stuff, so I wasn't reading, and then by the time where I was reading, because I actually got a little bit ahead, and then by the time where I was like trying to continue reading, like the anime already caught up. I'm like, ugh, I'm so tired to trying to like read faster than when it's coming out. So I was like, you know what? I'll just wait. But now because of how it ended, I'm like, maybe I'll just start reading it again, because this does not feel like a satisfying conclusion to the season. I'm like,
No.
I need to continue because this does not give me anything.
No,
Like,
there's no catharsis, there's no real wrap-up. It just sort of stops, and I'm honestly shocked that there's no episode after this one.
So I do have a question.
Sure.
So I remember they're on the island to find a particular item, right? And all I remember is also seeing is a lot of people dying. Is that still the whole object of the show? Or is
Yeah,
that,
pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, there's some political stuff that's going on, which they teased at the end of episode 13. So it's not all cut and dry. But I think at this point, considering where episode 13 leaves off, you're much better waiting for season 2 to come out. Because it just doesn't... What do you think, Dragon? It just doesn't feel great to end where it did.
Yeah, I think if you were to watch it now without season 2, you're just gonna be like stuck where me and Jessica are and just be like, that's it? Like, we're not getting anything else after this for like a good while? And then, like, I mean, at that point, like, yes, you can start reading the manga, but like, I feel like that's only if you like would want to read the manga to like continue it. If not, then you're just gonna be kind of like left a little bit like disappointed, like, damn, like I can't believe now I gotta wait this long just to continue this, unless I like go out of my way to actually start picking up like a printed copy or like, you know, going online and reading it. But
You should find yourself happy with that, actually, Jessica, because there's this show back in the day called Kami-sama Dolls, which at the end of the season, they even showed you, like, next season 2 and held this whole preview, and there's been no season 2.
that's pain.
I remember that, yeah. Because I watched it and I'm all, oh, okay, that's cool. I'm looking forward to this, but I guess I completely forgot about it over time. Ow. That's sad.
It looks so
yeah,
cool.
oh my gosh, okay, I googled, I remember this one. I liked this one a lot. And then no season 2, and is there even a manga? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's funny because at the end, they even showed you, like, this preview of what's to come.
Yeah, so I guess we shouldn't complain because it could be worse. It could just be, this is all you get, peasants. Be happy. So I do have a criticism. Is this show is guilty of the sin of death lags, where you know a character is going to die because you get their backstory, and so it kind of telegraphs who's dying. But I'm okay with that. I mean, this is not highbrow entertainment at all. It's just flashy fighting scenes, blood geysers, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So did they have that line? I can't wait to get home to tell the woman I love to marry me.
Not yet. They haven't done that one yet. Although I will say that Gabimaru says that, but he's the main character, so he's got plot armor. He'll be fine.
And he's got protagonist armor.
Yes, he's main character. He'll be okay. Because he's the only one that's just, oh, I gotta find this so I can get home to my wife. So anyway, yeah, if you want to watch this, just wait for season 2, and hopefully it will show up.
So does this show, like, up its score? Because I remember in episode 2 it got pretty bad. And then... So I was wondering, is it pretty consistent with how it displays the gore? Or is it ramp up or kind of fall down?
I think it's pretty consistent, except that they begin to fight larger and larger monsters. And so they're tearing apart these monsters and also getting really beat up, too. But I think it's consistent. What do you think, Dragon?
I think it is. I mean, let's see, because I think at first I think when they first stepped on the island, it wasn't, like, as bad, but as they get in, obviously it's one of those dynamics, like, oh, as you get closer to the center, you deal with the more tougher and stronger ones. And so that's when, like, I guess that's where it becomes, like, more, like, I guess, like, just, like, thrilling between the fights, because it's like they're facing someone who, like, they have never faced before. Like, it's a lot hard to take on, and it does get more bloody for both ends of the whole groups, like from the monsters and the people coming onto the island.
I see. So, is there anything else we need to mention, or should we move on to the next?
I think I've said my piece on this.
I think
more to add.
I'll just say, like, I think for, like, the whole premise is kind of like pretty, like, standard of, like, oh, like, we need to find this, like, magical item that's supposed to, like, give some type of benefit to whoever, like, has it. Like, it has that, like, kind of premise, but, like, I think visually it's stunning. If you like blood, gore, this is a stunning visual appeal. And, like, I get, like, because I remember reading, I was in a stream and someone was saying that they were watching this anime and they're like, oh yeah, like, this is, like, pretty, like kind of, like, generic. And, like, yeah, it's, like, pretty, like, basic, like, oh, it's, like, you know, Fountain of Youth story, essentially. You know, you're trying to get something so that you can, like, live longer. So it has that. going, but the visual appeal is what sells it for me. That's why I've been continuing to watch it.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. All I remember is that when they got to the island, things looked really, really strange as far as those monsters.
Yeah, and
But
that's the intrigue of it. I think is like what is going on in this island, what's making all these people turn into like flowers and stuff like that.
And they're scary too. These monsters is that they look unnatural and wrong, and that they shouldn't be here. Because we've seen our fair share of anime monsters, right? And a lot of the times the main character is one that the viewer is supposed to go, oh, I would love to be in this situation and fight these evil things. But these things, no, I would not want to be on this island fighting these scary man-faced cockroaches and fish people and all sorts of killer flowers and stuff. No, these things look scary, and the designs are not stale. Is that they keep being interesting to look at and still maintaining that ick factor, even after 13 episodes.
Yeah, I think what makes it so unnatural is like they also have a very human characteristic to them mixed with it, and it's like, whoa, like, because when we think of monsters, we think just like separate, like they don't look anything related to humans, but all of the creatures here have some form of human characteristic for most of them.
All right. Let's go to the next title then. Did you guys want to talk about the Clueless Friend, or?
I only watched like 1 or 2 episodes, so I mean I don't know about Vinny, but
Yeah, I'm way behind on that.
So okay, we'll go past that one then. We'll go to the next one, which I kind of wanted to keep watching, but I just kind of never got around to it, which is Jijo wo... Oh, no, that's the wrong one. I'm reading the wrong one, sorry. Kami naki sekai no kami-sama katsudo, or kamikatsu, working for a god in a godless world. I'm actually surprised that Albert, looks like you finished this?
Did finish it. So this is one of those technically isekai, right? And the first episode was really wacky and weird, and I continued to watch it, and it was kind of a guilty pleasure because by no means is it good. In fact, the animation continued to do really crazy stuff. Like there's at one point they have the god Mitama introduce a harvester combine thing for rice harvesting, right? And they took an actual live action image, kind of blurred it, and pasted one of the characters' faces on the driver. So they kept doing really janky, weird CG, weird blend, weird rotoscope, and it sounds like they're all doing it on purpose to make it as wacky as possible. So I was enjoying how stupid some of those scenes were. And in terms of the actual story, it does not conclude because I think the light novel is ongoing. I think there might be a manga also, but I haven't read any of that. I haven't read any of the light novels. So, it gets to the point where the entire system that was set up for this isekai world, one empire, one emperor rules everything, but it's then revealed that it's a post-apocalypse, and the previous civilization created this perfect order supercomputer to run the entire thing. And the supercomputer decided that, this medieval level tech and tight population control, removing all traces of religion, but only having the emperor be like the god figure is the proper way to go. So that's how And to enforce that, he created these super beings called Archons who would do the will of the Emperor, right? And into this world comes protagonist Isekai-kun, and then he figures he needs to save the people who don't fit in with the order of the empire, and they are sent out to villages to live their own lives, and sometimes they are deemed too irregular, so they are executed. So to prevent all of that, he decides to use Mitama, the god that came with him, and create religion. So really wacky premise, and he does all kinds of weird things because he was the son of a cult leader in Japan before he got isekai'd. He was in fact sacrificed by his dad. So all told, he has the knowledge of how cult worship works, and he's using all of that to manipulate. And he's, for the most part, when you look at his motivations, he's not a very nice person. he manipulates other people, he lies, all of that, and yet you're just kind of watching this disaster kind of unfold as he tries to beat each of the Archons. The Empire has kind of fallen. One of the Archons has taken over, and all these other Archons are vying for power. So he's trying to fend them off while trying to increase his base, Mitama's base of worshippers through various means. So it's a really wacky show. I can't really recommend it to anyone, but I did have fun watching all the antics of the animators as they pulled hijinks and bad CG monsters on purpose, and try to use pixel art and 8-bit characters, all these things. So from an animation perspective, it was interesting, but story-wise, I would not recommend it. That's it.
So I don't know. I think I would just give a spoiler warning right now, just so people don't want to spoil. Close your ears for a bit. Isn't this kind of like a fake isekai? Because technically, wasn't it like he didn't really travel to another world? It's just a different time.
It's not clear if the isekai is actually Japan or the current world in the future. It's just indicated that a previous civilization, like modern day, 21st century modern day world, went south, and then the remnants of that civilization created the new world. But it's not explicitly stated that it's Earth, so it's maybe still isekai instead of pure time travel. But there's been a bunch of other isekais that started off as isekai but ended up being time travel, or a combination of both. So yeah, who knows? Not revealed fully at the end of season 1.
I see. All right, thank you for that. I think you were the only one. I think Vinny, did you drop it, Vinny, or you just didn't have time to catch up?
I didn't have a time to catch up. I think I was on episode 5.
I think that's as far as I got. But I guess we'll go to the next title, which is like, what is it? The number 1 title on all sites that we're kind of getting sick and tired of almost a little bit. Kimetsu no Yaiba. Katana Kaji no Satohen. Now, I watched like the first 2 episodes, and then I was like, I could always watch this later. So I have not seen anything past the first 2. Is it still great? Anyone?
I mean, this is the, let's see, what is this? Third season, yeah. This is the third season of Demon Slayer. So I mean, at this point, is like if you've already been watching it, like just continue watching it. But yeah, I mean, I think it visually it's still great. But I actually only watched a couple of episodes here and there because eventually I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'll just start reading it. And I actually finished reading the manga, so I was like, oh well, I guess I already know what's gonna happen. So I'm like, it's kind of like that. Oh, because I already know what's gonna happen, I'll watch it when I get to it. And like because I was already watching so many other animes, like this was just like on way back burner just because I already knew what was gonna happen now. But I mean, it's season 3. If you've already watched every other Demon Slayer episode, like you're probably just gonna continue just watching this.
Vinny, Albert?
Yeah, I watched it to the end, and it's I think it's the weakest of the 3 seasons, because the characters, there's 2 Hashiras involved in this arc, and neither one of them gets a full interesting story. They do get a backstory. The Mist Hashira Tokito gets more in-depth about his past and trauma and losing family and all that. The other one, the Love Hashira, gets barely half an episode to her backstory, so not that good. And there are 2 upper level demons that they have to fight in the village of the swordsmiths, and so there's a lot of cutting back and forth between action scenes and then backstory, and then cutting over to the other battle that is happening. So there's just way too many cuts to different scenes, and it felt jarring. It didn't have a good pace. If you recall, season 2 was over half was just one giant continuous battle scene, and here, yes, there are 2 antagonists, but they're very much separated, and in fact one of the demons, spoiler, can be more than one form. So you have multiple of these going on, and I just didn't feel like the story part came together. Now at the end of it, the very last episode, which I think this was the 11 episode arc, something really interesting happens, and I did enjoy that episode, but everything up to that point felt, I'm not gonna say it was mid, because the animation remained very good and exciting, but the pacing just wasn't up to the excitement. You just lost the excitement from the pacing issues. So it's still good. If you like Demon Slayer, you'll probably like it, but having watched all 3 seasons plus the movie, it's I think the weakest.
So here's my thing, like, because of how was watching some of it and noticing some of the monsters, I think I felt like it wasn't going to be like the other ones, because like at the end of the other seasons, I always felt some kind of sympathy for the demons at the end when they were defeated and everything, and kind of felt, like, this is so bad when they're dying. But did that have that same emotional connection?
No.
These ones?
No, absolutely not. That is a problem with this arc. So the 2 upper level demons, one of them, I don't actually, is that right? No, yeah, you don't get a backstory for the one, but then the other one,
right?
the pot one, yeah.
And then for the other one, you get this backstory, but you just end up hating the thing more because it's just a bad backstory. There's nothing sympathetic about that character or tragic. Well, the demons at the in the second arc, Daki and her brother. That was tragic. You could see that.
That one hurt me. I was so sad about that. I was like, oh my god.
If under different circumstances, they could have had a better life, and that's the whole tragedy part. Here, that guy was just bad from the get-go, and just self-denial of how evil he was. So absolutely not sympathetic characters and the demons, and that is also a problem in this Swordsmith Village arc.
That's what I was kind of feeling. That's why I kind of didn't really care to watch it so much, because, like you said, the Daki and the other girl, whatever, or the other season,
The brother.
Yeah, I mean, their story was just so tragic and just brought me to tears. And even before that, even with the other, like, what was it? He was a lower tier right? You can kind of feel a little bit for him. Yeah, you can kind of feel a little bit for him, but it's just they always give you those touching moments that pull at your heartstrings, and I just really didn't see that happening in this one.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it probably did have really good action.
Season.
But probably really good action though, right?
Like I said, the pacing really, the chopping back and forth between the scenes kind of kills the action pacing. So what action there was good, but also not paced well. It wasn't great.
Okay.
I think the next portion is. I forgot. I think they said it's gonna be an OVA, right? Because it's supposed to be the training arcs with the Hashira.
Yeah, I know it's the Hashira training arc, but I haven't read the manga. I don't know how long it is, and I don't know if it's a OVA or a movie or actual short series. So
because I don't know. I
think that was
remember
fully
reading
explained.
kind of somewhere. It's been a while now, but I remember seeing somewhere that it said that the next portion will be Hashira training arcs and something about possibly just being an OVA, just because it's not like too much like big content to be like I think a whole season. But yeah, that's what I remember from reading somewhere a while back.
All right. Well, let's go to the next title, which is... This one surprised me. It gave me really big, like, Shinkai vibes sometimes. Kiwi wo Hokugo no Somnia. Oh, this is based off of a manga?
Yep.
Take it away, Vinny. I haven't finished it. I've got 3 more episodes to watch. No, actually 4, because it's a 13 episode, which I was surprised. So yeah, I've got 4 more episodes to go.
How far did I get?
Okay.
But I do like it.
Oh yeah.
I got to episode 10, so I'm 3 episodes away from 2.
Alright, so this is mainly high school drama involving 2 classmates with vastly different looking life, except that they both suffers from insomnia. They cannot seemingly fall asleep at night. So they spend all day time combating the effect of insomnia, and 2, they try to figure out ways to get some sleep without alerting other people, given that if this was known to others, they're gonna think that it's gonna be treated as some kind of a, it's what's the word I'm looking for? A stigmatism, I guess. So they desperately try to find the ways to get some sleep without letting others know. And in their school, there is an unused observatory area with a built-in jumbo-sized telescope and all that. But it hasn't been in use for quite some time, and there's a rumor going on that while it was being in use by astronomy club, one of the classmate club member committed suicide after having a case of a broken heart. So the rumor goes. And our main character, Nakami, is the boy and Magari is the girl. He accidentally runs into that observatory tower while he was looking for some cardboards for the upcoming event. And he noticed that the door is open, so curious got the better of him. He walks up there and found the girl in what looks like almost a open-faced coffin. So he thought that was a girl dead. Turned out it was a classmate who was actually catching a sleep over there without letting anybody know, and that's how they met. And they come to realize that both of them are having the same problem of lacking sleep at nighttime. So they hatched the idea of converting this observation deck area into their private sleeping dome, which didn't work out too well, as one of the school teacher, no, actually, it was is it teacher or is it the nurse?
I believe she was a nurse.
Yeah, found out that what they're up to. So instead of getting punished, she took pity on them and decided that they will be the newly founding members of the defunct astronomy club. And the catch is that they'll have to engage in activities that befits the club, which is to take pictures of all the night skies with stars on the top. So it goes from there that they eventually figure out ways to have spend some summertime in sightseeing places to take pictures, and they develop a deep friendship in between. And they encounter a lot of the classmates that kind of warms up to their problems, to their predecessor in the clubs who long graduated but still kind of gets involved in semi-formal ways. And it's through and through basically mild drama. There's nothing outrageous about it. There's no overpowering heroes. There's no conflict that's fully magically resolved. They still have their own problems to deal with, which is unfolded as series went on. The girl has a heart condition that she had to run through multiple surgery when she was little, so she's got a scar to show for it. But because of that, she missed so many times in school when she was younger because she was so sickly that she does not talk about that. Whereas Nakami, the boy's case, is that his insomnia started when his mother just one day packed up and just disappeared from their life, and that traumatized him in a way that he didn't realize that, but it ended up becoming that was the central reason for him having insomnia, that fear of tomorrow coming, where the tomorrow is worse than the yesterday in his case. It's beautifully done. The scenery is fantastic to look at. The night skies is great to see. And it's one of those series where that that they spend a lot of time hunting for the perfect locations. One of the example would be like Eurocamp, where the Eurocamp is littered with all those real life scenic places. They did more or less the same thing. So a lot of real life places are presented, drawn beautifully. Kind of places that makes you want to actually go and take a picture of them yourself. And I think when we are watching it throughout this whole session, I was griping about how much of a giant pain in the ass to actually try to take a night photography, because it never really works out the way you envision it. And they do pretty decent explanations of what it pertains to taking a picture at night sky. then you need the right equipment, the settings, shutter speeds, and the whole shebang. So that's kind of a entertaining slash educational in a way. So if you're actually interested in, it's not a bad series to watch it just to get a glimpse of what it takes to take a picture at night. Otherwise, it's I cannot really say more other than the fact that it's a very good, calming series to watch. Anybody who likes the drama, or not manufactured drama, but just drama that takes its place in naturally, this will be the one of the series to watch. Very low key, well done.
Thank you, Vinny. One thing I do want to, or actually probably a few things I want to say about this show was that unlike other anime, it's very toned down in the how do I say it? It's cartooniness, I guess maybe I want to say that it's seems more fit for like a live action series drama rather than an anime. So there's not a lot of over action on characters or weird animation going on. Everything's pretty much as if you're just watching a TV drama throughout the day.
There's a live action film that came out 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. But another thing that I liked about this show was, although not too much really happens in this show, it does have quite a bit of character development, especially for the boy. What was the boy's name again?
Nakami?
Nakami. Because although with Nakami at the beginning, he seems kind of lost and wandering and just always very listless, but as we're going through, he kind of now has a direction and seems to be more have a purpose and has a focus. So I've been enjoying that and how he's been growing.
He becomes a bit more rounded, more approachable character later on. Yes.
Yeah. I can't say too much about the girl because she doesn't seem to be the biggest focus in the show. It seems to be the guy.
Yeah, but she's a good complement character. Without her, he wouldn't develop in character the way he does later on. So she's essential, and yet she's not the focal point of it. It's the boy, but she's very much a necessary figure to be there.
If anything, it kind of has, like, their dynamic kind of almost made me think of, like, what was that? I Want to Eat Your Pancreas? You know what I mean?
Kinda. Yeah, kinda, sorta, yeah.
But it's a very fun show. I really do want to finish this. I was a few episodes off, but... Does anyone want to mention anything else? Or?
They break the ultimatum at the end, so...
Okay, next up. Ooh, this show. This show I did not want to watch, but I'm kind of happy I did watch now that I've seen it. Starts with a K. There it is. Kono Subarashi Sekai ni Bakuen wo? So the spin-off of Konosuba with Megumi, right? I think I honestly missed the first 3 episodes and I just continued from there. It was a really fun show though. Surprisingly, I thought it was going to be all take place in their village as their class school life, how it kind of started, right? But surprisingly, that only took half the season, or maybe even a little bit less. And then the second half was her travel to, I guess, the starting city. And also how she gained her passion for the explosion how she gained her knowledge for the explosion and how she uses her explosion. But one of the biggest gifts this show gave us was more of Kome. What was her name?
Komeko?
Komeko, yes. Oh my god, she's so hilarious. And she's like called the demons chicken because they have wings and stuff. But really, really fun show. If you're a fan of the first season, you'll find a lot of moments where, because of Megumin's influence in the series of Konosuba, you see those actually appear.
Oh yeah, the resort town, the shenanigan.
Yes.
I didn't realize until you brought it out there.
And also, you see a lot of scenes with Kazuma and Aqua in the background. Just passing by as they're living their lives, as we saw it through a montage of in 30 seconds. We're now seeing some of those moments live out as they go through the Megumi's life, which was also really fun. But I did not see the last episode. How did it end, Vinny?
It ended just as how the Megumin gets to meet those two central figures in the Konosuba. That she sort of was the poster, the recruitment poster, that looking for the higher leveled the wizard, and she took it and she bring it to the table where the Kazuma and Aqua was sitting, and that she goes there and introduces herself, and that's how it ended.
Nice.
Which is what, like episode 1 or 2, where yes, it picked up right up there, right at where they left off.
Do you have anything to add, Albert?
Not really. I mean, it was fun. It was okay. I still miss the entire gang and the antics of that. So I would still watch. I'm very interested in season 3 that was announced.
Yeah.
If you watched, season 1 and season 2 and the movie, there are things that are retconned. For example, her cat Chomusuke, right? Didn't show up till like halfway through season 1, just randomly appears. But here, it's actually part of the backstory. So there are some things that don't quite fit with the timeline of events of season 1 that have been retconned. But that's fine. And again, Komeko is cute as a button. Also scary.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on to the next title, which is actually a continuation from last season. It went on hiatus because of I think it was COVID, right?
Yeah.
Oh wait, so that means it's going to be in winter, right? Kubo-san. Where's the K? Kubo. There it is. There's the title, sorry. Kubo-san wa mob wo yurusanai. And Vinny kind of touched on this a little bit when we were talking about Dangers in My Heart, right?
Yeah.
They share similar feelings in the sense that they want to draw you in to this heartwarming feeling as you see the relationship between these two characters, the mob character, or the one that's seen as the dark or not stand out, and the sunny disposition of the female that opens up to him and pulls him out from that darkness into the light, in a sense, right? So both are done that way, but with this show, You don't get a lot of that teenage or the younger, how do you say it? What was that? Fan service or dirty talk that the boys do, since we don't see much of the other classmates in this, so it's a little more pure than Dangers in My Heart. But there's just a lot of really cute moments in it, because of, you even see what the kid's brother, Shota, I think his name was, and the cousin of Kubo-san that appear, bring a lot of these heart-lighted moments and try to bring these two together, especially with the sister entering the fray, which was kind of fun. But it was really nice to finally see the end of this and not have to wait forever. You have anything to add, Dragon?
I feel like, coming back to what Vinny said, if, like, you know, they didn't have that whole situation with COVID to put in that, like, hiatus, I think both Dangers in My Heart and Kubo would really shine. But because of the hiatus and they got put into one season together, like, one shined higher over the other, being that Dangers in My Heart this time was shining out like higher than Kubo. But both are very enjoyable. Like, this one is to me kind of gave me the same feeling as like Teasing Master Takagi-san, a little bit, other than, like, you know, like, everyone just doesn't notice what's the guy's name? Shiraishi. Yeah, no one notices Shiraishi, and that's just like the funny bit of it, and that Kubo is the one that notices. And, like, there's lots of cute moments between Kubo and Shiraishi because of that. But it's just, like, a little bit sad that, like, Kubo didn't get the full attention that it should have gotten last season if it had finished, because now, like, half of it just kind of got like overpowered by something else. But if you have time, definitely check both Kubo and Dangers in My Heart out. They are both very cute, like young romances.
But I think Kubo, they are in high school, right?
I think they are in high school for Kubo.
Yeah, they're high schoolers.
But at least I think they're only in the first year.
Mm-hmm.
Anything to add, Vinny, or?
Just a little bit. It's just unfortunate that it ended up splitting the viewership with Dangers in My Heart, and I don't know how many of them are willing to watch two of the similar type of series at the same time. So, and given the fact that Dangers in My Heart was run, continuously without any taking break, and the fact that it was a newer series, it definitely drew more attention this season around. Because I recall that last season, before Kubo-san was put on hiatus, a lot of us are talking about how much we like this series so much, that it's this heartwarming, gentle rom-com series. But then it got it got put into the back burner, and the momentum was clearly lost by this. It resumed, which is unfortunate. But otherwise, I like this series a little bit more than the Dangers in My Heart. Maybe because of the style of it per se, or maybe because of the main character dynamics a little different. Whereas in his case, it's hard to put my finger to it. I think in Kubo, the female character has a more presence, or stronger presence, whereas the Dangers in My Heart kind of started off with the boy, then it kind of split towards half and half. But yeah, enough of rambling from me.
I
But
think
yeah,
one of the biggest difference I would say was that The Angels of My Heart kind of started from a darker position, while Kubo-san's was more light-hearted positions.
yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, so that's the end of that show, so don't forget about it if you did. It's now finished. It ended on 12 episodes. The first 6 episodes played last season, and then they released the next 6 for us this time. Did you want to talk about the Maho Shoujo Magical Destroyers? Albert?
No.
No? Okay.
Yeah, not really.
And then we got Mahotsukai no Yome up next, which what show was that one again?
Ancient Magus Bride, I think. Mahotsukai?
Oh yeah, the Ancient Magus Bride. I found this actually very underwhelming.
What? Well, okay, there's a reason for it, but yeah.
I liked it, but I will say I think I liked the first season more, and that's just because I'm not really big into going to high school. I find that you have this whole world with fairies and stuff, which is way more interesting than let's go to Hogwarts. Again. You know what I mean? And that said, I still liked it. I'm not 100% finished with it because Hyrule, but I have read the manga, so I have an idea of where it goes. And it's just as gorgeous as the first season too, even if the setting isn't as interesting.
I had a feeling that the first season had a lot more like beautiful magical scenes that happened in this one. This one, although we did see some magic appearing, it just wasn't as vibrant in the colors as the first one. Like, I remember that scene when she said wanted to get home to Ilias really fast, and she cast that spell and just flew over to him. Beautiful, beautiful. But I didn't feel any of that kind of magic or imagery in this second season.
Well, Chisek could only take so much of that.
I think it's because the setting is more mundane than the first season. Because she goes into the woods and she meets the freaking fairy king and queen. That's pretty badass. So when you compare that to, oh no, I have to get to class on time, it's just kind of. But I still really liked it, and I do recommend it as a whole.
I do have one question for you, Jessica. Did you ever go back and watch that OVA and see the scenes that you thought were missing?
No, I didn't. I forgot. So I should do that. Among the many other anime-related tasks I need to do.
Did this end on a cliffhanger or just...
I haven't finished it yet. I still have a few more episodes to go.
It does not end in cliffhanger, but I think it was by design. They did mention that the second half of this season is going to be more action-packed, and this was first half of which is this now. It's meant to be a table setter, just laying out the groundwork and introduce all these new characters that's gotta be more relevant. So it does come out as a bit of a flat side. But having said that, switching the studio really did not affect them in a negative way whatsoever, which is good. And I still like the music, both opening and ending song of it. So.
My headphones fell off. But yeah, not much to say about that show, I guess. Great. So we'll go on. What? People dropped my shell? How could you guys? I thought that was like the anime that was gonna be the top in Crunchyroll.
Harry Potter, man, Harry Potter.
It was promoted so much. I thought it was going to be good. I gave it like 3 tries. And it still failed.
I even saw a display for it at AX. Let me see if I can put in a picture in the chat.
So next
Oh
up,
yeah, they did have a display.
next up is, I mean, we've been talking about these light-hearted shows, these shows that are so happy. Let's get something to dark. Mobile Suit Gundam. What is it? The Witch from Mercury, right? Season 2? Did that finish? Or
Yes.
how is it, guys? Because I kind of fell off this.
I have very mixed feelings about it. There's a lot of stuff in here that I really liked, and then a lot of things that I think fell flat, but my opinion is in the minority. So I don't know if you should take my thoughts as whether or not you should watch it. As most people tend to say that this is one of the better Gundams ever. I just came away being a little disappointed. At what point did you stop watching, Tank?
Well, I did not see the last few episodes, or last, I think, 2 episodes of the first season.
Oh, okay.
And then I missed the first 4 of this one. And then I watched like 3, and then I didn't finish the rest. So I'm kind of all over the place. All I saw was like, I think she ended up fighting and this one guy, and then she got sabotaged and lost.
And you missed like a whole bunch of the good stuff. So I would recommend you go back and finish it.
Yeah, I can't imagine watching this one out of order. It would not make any sense. Well, okay, a lot of my criticisms have to do with plot threads or themes not panning out, and so I don't want to spoil you if you do decide to go back and watch it.
Oh, it's okay, because I've been jumping around, because like I had to host when we were watching all together. So I saw some pieces, but I wasn't 100% paying attention. I was doing other stuff.
I guess the thing I will say is that I really liked the characters of Suletta and Miorine. I thought they were pretty cool. Other things I liked is that it's a pretty, how to say this, diverse body type cast. Is that you have lots of characters that aren't just anime girl sized. You have some plus size characters, both male and female. You have older characters, you have younger characters, so there's a huge variety of people in this world. Let's see, what else? Sorry, I'm just thinking about all the things that didn't really pan out. One of the things that really irritated me was that most of the characters have plot armor. There are no primary characters end up dying. Most of the secondary cast, at least actually I think all of the secondary cast, makes it out okay. If you don't count the different iterations of Alon. And even the tertiary characters, there's one girl that gets gooshed by a building. And the episode is kind of showing, look how sucky war is. Doesn't it suck? Because even kids, high schoolers, get killed senselessly in war. And then in the very next scene, it shows her, she's resuscitating in the hospital room, and she's fine. She'll be okay. And so that's one of the things that I was really irritated about this, is that it wanted to be dark, but it pulled its punch every single time, and I'm just, oh, come on. And for me, that completely ruined the tension in the last several episodes, because I knew everyone was going to be okay. Everyone was going to make it out fine.
So they didn't kill enough kids for you?
No, they did not. They did not murder hardly anybody. And a lot of those secondary plot lines just sort of fizzle out. There are key concepts that don't really go anywhere. and I would have liked to see them elaborate on some of those. For instance, the whole dueling thing would be really cool, especially how they set it up as it's so ritualized, it's almost religious, but they don't say what the limits are. They don't say, oh, you can ask for anything. So why don't they just go, I want to be in control of the entire Benerit group? There's nothing to say that they can't do that. But another thing I really did like is that the final fortress that they showed, Quiet Zero, it felt scary. And the whole lead up to that was really cool. The music is amazing. It's dramatic. It's really unforgettable. So, like I said, for me, it's more of a mixed bag, but I am definitely the oddball on this one. I'd like to hear from people that enjoyed it and tell me why I'm wrong.
Okay, so I watched the entire thing. I really did enjoy it. From what I understand, it was planned as 24 episodes from the get-go. And to cram that amount of information in, Gundam series has the unfortunate thing of trying to spin off all these side projects and explaining things in side projects. So if you just watch the main series, there are things that you're going to miss. Even for this series, which from Mercury, there's like a prequel, not the first episode, the prequel episode. There's a story, a novelization, short story on their website in both Japanese and English, and then there is a set novelization that's coming out, that's currently out. I think the first volume is out, and then there, I believe, is another short story that bridges some of the gaps. So there is that problem, and because it was so short, the second half, especially the second half of the second core, seems very rushed, and I don't disagree with you there. There are characters that you don't exactly know why they do what they do, because it's not covered. They're a secondary or tertiary support character. There are people that die. I think the tension just was up, because I really thought a couple of the, I guess, secondary, would they be considered secondary, like Elan and Guel and some of those, or are they primary?
Those two would be considered secondary characters, yeah.
Secondary. All right. So some of the secondary characters I thought could have died if it didn't go the way the story went, which is, if you know Shakespeare and The Tempest, it is one of the few non-tragic Shakespeare stories. So it ends up with a happy ending, and I kind of suspected that's what they would go with, but I wasn't sure how they were going to pull all the threads together to make it that way, because up to that point, there's a lot of unexplained conflict in the background, and it's not until like the second core that you get some of the world perspective and how crappy the world is in terms of the Earth versus space economies. Having said all that, yes, there are problems with it, but I enjoyed it for amazing run of cramming everything into 24 episodes. There are a whole bunch of video analysis on YouTube about, you blink if you miss it moments in the story. And even in the final episode, I don't know if you noticed the rings, Jessica?
No, actually, I didn't.
There you go. So this is a series that if you go back and rewatch the same episode, you'll pick up more things in it. And if you do freeze frame and do slow motion, you will just start noticing, oh, they did that. Oh, that's the hint that I missed. So it's a great rewatch too. But yeah, the final episode, if you the last 5 minutes, if you slow mo through like Irene waving her hands, or her when they get up to walk around with Soletta, you'll notice things.
Okay.
Right. So there are things that are also concluded off screen, like Soletta's mom's story. You know, they just drop you a bomb in the last episode about what's going on, although you kind of suspect on the episode before, and then you're like, oh, it's not all for show or fake or hiding her face. There really is something going on, right? But all of that, it goes by you at a mile, per second or whatever. It's going by you at light speed, at permit speed. So you need to, pay attention and figure out what the hell is going on. And it's heavy. There is a lot of dense information, and I don't necessarily agree that's the best way to present the show. I know that the show is popular. It has sold a ton of Gunpla. I know Gunpla, the Gundam plastic models, have sold really well. I know the show has a lot of character goods and Gunpla, like I said, and posters. Everything is selling well as far as I know. So it has been a hit for Bandai and Sunrise, the parent company that did all this. So yeah, I did enjoy it, but I do see I do hear and see your complaints about unresolved threads and plots and going by too fast.
And I will say that the Gundams in this, the design of the Gundams, are probably some of my favorites in the entire franchise. They look amazing. And I've never bought a Gunpla before, but I was kind of tempted with these guys because they're cool.
Well, there are things called metal figures where it's just the entire actual toy model that you could buy.
Oh, nice.
You don't have to make yourself. And interesting thing about that is each of the different companies had a principal mechanical designer that was different. So that's why they look different, because they gave it to different people and said, design your own Gundam, mobile suits, right? So the Jatark ones, they tend to look bulky, kind of almost insect-like, versus the one from like the Farak and others. Yeah, they're all different designers. So just like you would have in the real world with a competition to create some sort of weapon, they have different design elements. So that's why.
That is pretty cool, yeah. And I do like the point that you made about the number of episodes, because thinking about it, most Gundam are way longer than 24 episodes, right?
Yeah, they're usually a full year.
They're usually 52. So that explains a lot of the condensing and dropped plot threads and stuff.
There's a few exceptions in the past, namely even the original OG Mobile Suit Gundam from 1979 to 80. It was cut slightly short. I think there's only 40 some episodes in that. I know Gundam X got cut short, and I believe Gundam G also got cut short. But otherwise, they're usually planned for a full year. But this one was kind of different, that they did from the get-go. People might think it got cut short, but there's no way it got cut short. You could not wrap things up if you didn't plan from it from the get-go. So the problem is the amount of information they wanted to cram is too much, and you have to have little side stories and spin-offs to explain everything. But there is a lot of information. If you want to rewatch it, you will see things and go, oh. So
okay.
Yep.
So no happy birthday songs?
You know what? That was one of my favorite episodes, and I kept hoping that it would come back to that kind of drama. I'm getting a lot of feedback from you, Tank. Do you have a fan on or something?
Yeah, I'm getting noise from Tank too.
Give me a second. I think I accidentally moved so the fan was hitting it. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
A little bit.
All right, so I'll see. I did like the first half, but I don't know about the second half. But we'll see if I ever have some free time. I may go back and try to watch it. I do know the ending cards were beautiful, right?
Oh yes, and the second ending song, while I didn't care for the song itself, the imagery is amazing. You have to watch it. There's just this beautiful ballroom dance scene with Suleta and Miorine that has so much emotion packed into it. I can't do it justice. So yeah, go ahead and watch that if nothing else.
Can you send me the episode? Or...
It's any
No,
of
it's
the
the
episodes
ED.
in the second season.
So it's the second season ending?
Yeah, second season ending.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really good. I really enjoyed the song, and again, the imagery packs a lot of information in there.
Mm-hmm.
If you care to go decode things, right? The final episode had a different ending, and it's actually the first season's opening song, and the lyrics totally make sense at that point.
Oh, cool. I see that GIF.
Well, anyway, strong recommend for me, and yeah, if you've never watched the Gundam show, this might be the one to start instead of going all the way into the mess that is Universal Century.
In all honesty, I think the only Gundam show I've seen to completion was Gundam Seed.
This was the
pretty
only
good, though.
one for me.
Okay, next up is the title I think everyone out there knows about in some way or form. Oshinoko, right?
Yeah.
So, like...
Oh, I did not mark it off.
So
Whoops.
that was like the big... I mean, okay, according to this now, everyone in our group... This is the only show everyone in our group saw together already. I did not see the last episode, though. But
Neither did I.
I haven't seen the last episode either.
Okay.
but I'm kind of saddened a little bit by near the end, because I honestly thought the more interesting out of the whole story thing was Aqua. That's his name, right? Aqua.
Yeah.
His whole story. And I didn't really care about the idol or Ruby, Ruby's group. So I know it needs to be there to move the story along to get to wherever Aqua needs to go. But I was just not feeling it. But it was very heavy in the middle. I think it was, right? That even
Oh my
they
goodness,
gave
yeah.
you like disclaimers,
Episode
right?
6. Episode 6.
At the end.
Oh my goodness,
for-
that one was...
What was it? A suicide hotline or?
It was a suicide
Yeah.
hotline, yeah.
So it got pretty
Think it-
heavy.
Yeah, I think it parallels the real life event that happened in Japan not long ago, so
Oh.
it took a lot of flack for that. Little bit of the background is that there was a professional wrestler in Japan who participated in the reality TV series, and the fans just flamed her big time for subpar performance, and she ended up committing suicide soon after that.
Oh, how
And
horrible.
that episode drew a lot of parallels from that particular episode, and actually drew the protest from the family member of the wrestler as well.
Mhm.
So was that the inspiration of this, or was the story made before that?
No, it's just that it's a very similar scenario, but because it became so similar to like that scenario of that family, like the family I think spoke up about it and was like this seems a little bit wrong. And then
Right.
So
I
it's-
remember something else about that whole situation is that fans, like people, like some of the fans of the shows, or I don't even think we should be able to call them fans, actually started flaming the family because they were like, the family was talking about like kind of like how the show was like disrespecting, a little bit of disrespecting like their scenario, and then like those, like some of those watchers of the show were actually like flaming the family, and then
Oh, for heaven's
it's like,
sake.
you know, like it's like the whole point of this episode is about like how flaming can like lead to like a tragedy, and yet that's what they're doing. They're doing the opposite of what the episode is warning, and it was like,
Wow.
what the heck?
I think the problem was that the manga itself presents it somewhat differently, but the way the animation took place, the way they styled it, resembled a little bit too much of the real life issues. So, for the example in particular, so that's where the family drew the objection over, and of course they got flamed for that by just stupid people, really.
That is bad.
So just somewhat coincidence of the scene, or
Well,
Like
clearly
imitating
he's
art, kind of?
inspired by it, right? So these events, he is on record as saying, he took from a variety of sources as inspiration. So clearly that incident was, because it was so prominent in Japan, it served as inspiration. But at the same time, that's not the only situation of a suicide or a near suicide for a reality TV star, right? So the manga author, and I don't know how much. Actually, I know that the person that is I forget her name, that's also drawing the manga, because the writer and the writer is the same, Aka. He has done, Kaguya-sama and others, but he has now since stopped drawing and is focusing on the writing duties. So he's been on record previously as saying he took a variety of inspiration across all kinds of entertainment industries. But it's not uncommon that there have been internet bullying that have led to self-harm in other industries too. So it's just unfortunate that this came about, and so-called fans of this show, the anime, have behaved in such abhorrent ways.
So do you think this scene was made just to bring awareness, and that it just kind of got taken in the wrong context, or?
No, I mean, I think this is an actual story that he wanted to tell, because most of the story arcs are not a very good look at Japanese entertainment. The background to all of that. So
I see. But other than that moment, I guess, how did the show appeal to you all?
I really
I
liked it, and I want to give a big shout out to Albert, who hooked me up with the episodes, because I don't have a
I
subscription.
don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, yeah.
Nudge, wink, wink.
But I didn't know anything about this, and I think Vinny had said something in the group chat of, oh my gosh, the less you know about this show going in, the better. So I went into it blind, and the first episode is what, an hour and a half?
Hour and 22 minutes.
Yeah, so it's
So
almost
it's a
like
triple length.
yeah, it's a full, like a movie length. And I was just absolutely gobsmacked with where the story went, because so many idol shows are about how cute it is and how much fun we're having, and it doesn't examine the industry closely, if at all. And this one just comes out swinging. So I really liked it. I can't wait to finish it. And I kind of want to read the manga. If any of you have read it, can you tell me, is it as good as the show?
Manga is
I
good.
have not read it.
Okay.
I think it's up to. Oh, sorry, got cut off. I think it's up to volume 4 license so far, but the first 2 should be out. Third one comes out in August.
Okay.
Very, very good. Would you say we should hold back and wait for the anime, like for the surprise factor, or would read the manga not affect it now? Because I know going into the anime blind was a great choice,
Mm-hmm.
but how about the
You should
rest
go
of
in
it?
blind.
I know the second season or second half of this show is coming out when? Sometime later? I guess if you don't want to be spoiled by it too much else, I just hold up and just watch the second half of the show, then pick up the manga.
All right. But
But if
definitely,
you cannot wait that long.
I was going to say definitely a very popular song. I hear it all the time on TikTok. Da 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 da
Well,
da da
it's-
da da.
I think it reached up at number 6 on the Billboard Global charts. It's saying something
It's catchy.
very.
Yep.
I think for me, this is probably anime of the season. How about everybody else?
It's up there. It's
uh,
up there.
Honestly, I like Dangers in My Heart better.
What? Okay.
I don't know why. I
It
just
is second for me. Anime of the season goes to Vinland Saga S2, season 2, that concluded this core. Oshinoko is probably second, and Gundam is probably third. I mean, it was a stacked season, so yeah. I still recommend it highly. Oshinoko, just go in and watch that first. You know, you really needed. I think they did the right thing. You really needed that. The first small arc, Eyes Art, to conclude in that way, to really get people on board in an instant. So, yeah, it's still a really good show, and it is not a flattering look at the entertainment industry. And all of that is, it's probably, the actual, you know, behind the scenes is probably worse. It always is. And there have been recent scandals that have come out that is in fact much worse. So,
Oh, no.
Which ones? There's so many to name it. So which ones now?
there's a producer that recently passed away within the last year. He was a huge powerhouse in the entertainment industry, and there have been long allegations of boy band members claiming they were abused by him. This producer, whose name I forget, and now that he's dead, more and more people keep coming out. It's just like the Catholic Church situation. More and more people are coming out and saying yes, and people knew about it, and people covered up for this guy because he was a powerful, you know, a mogul, entertainment mogul. But it's looking pretty clear that he did all those things, although you have to prove it in a court. So allegedly he did all these things, and allegedly many other people are corroborating these victims' statements. So
Sounds like a Weinstein with a
Yeah,
Miramax.
pretty much.
yeah. Yep. So anyway, you know, you get to see all of it. It's part of it is learning about all these behind the scenes wheeling and dealing that the entertainment industry have. It's not just idle, but like they talk about, you know, the movie or making a TV show and how this actor didn't get enough airtime not because she couldn't act or she wasn't popular. It's because that the management office of the rival was better positioned to push their own talent, right? Their own actor, and that's why they're seeing, more talented persons got cut. It's not by merit, and you as a Western audience, you always want to root for the person with talent and effort and merit. Everything should be based on merit, but that's not how it works. And so you get a peek behind the scenes, and it's not great. It's not great, but it's still a great show.
Yep. Okay, let's go on to the next title, which I kind of want to finish this because it was actually very entertaining to me, which was starts with the O. Otonari no Ginga. So I'm actually kind of curious as to how it progresses, or how does it end? Like, is it worth watching to the end, or did I see everything I needed to see with the first few episodes?
Am I the only
6
one that
episodes.
finished?
Yeah, I'm about 4 episodes behind.
Okay, so it's a very laid back, almost slice of life, with just a little bit of a weird supernatural twist, because the girl is some descendant of from the Star People or something like that. But it's very laid back. It's very low conflict. The conflict comes in the last couple of episodes when her mother tries to recall the girl to the island, and then she has to go through this entire family drama and explanation, which I don't think was very well done. They just focused on the girl and the mother, and her dad. I'm not even sure if it's her dad, but her dad is essentially just a shadow in the entire situation, which is a very weird position to be in. So in the end, I watched it. It was okay, but I can't really recommend it because nothing really interesting happened. It doesn't really teach you anything that you don't know about manga creation or shoujo manga creation. It doesn't really have any interesting personality conflicts. It doesn't really show you character growth and character arcs. It's just a light show to watch, and that's kind of my feeling. I'm very ambivalent about it.
Yeah,
It's too mild for its own good, really.
that's how I felt, Vinny. Like, I was expecting more of a conflict or more something to happen. That's why I kind of stopped watching it, because nothing was really going on. It was just everyone being happy.
Yeah, fundamentally, they're nice people doing nice things and trying to be considerate of other people, and that's about it. So she does carry some family drama, and especially given her situation as the princess of the island, but it doesn't heavily come into play, at least in this season. I don't know if it's popular enough to warrant a second season. I think the manga is still going on. It's just, it's a hard show to recommend.
Alright. So, let's go to the... Jessica, did you want to talk about Osama ranking?
I don't have a whole lot to say since it's a sequel to the original, and it's just more of the same. So, I mean, it's a Demon Slayer situation. If you're in, you're in. And if you didn't like the original, there's nothing here that would entice you to watch it. But I really like it. I recommend it.
Alright. Next up, is this one. I'm still missing the last episode, but Skip to Loafer, or Skip and Loafer. I keep on saying two because of its toll. I think, right? Skip to Loafer instead of two. And I missed the last episode. I don't know what happened. It seemed like a big conflict was going to brew in this festival that they built up to, right?
Did Tank attend the convention too? Seemingly you're missing a lot of last episodes.
I had no power, no internet, remember? And I was too lazy to go watch it on my own. But other than that, besides the last episode, this was another really fun school drama. I mean, normally I kind of want to stay away from school dramas because we've seen them over and over again. But there's always something in them that hooks you somehow. And this one, had that really good hook too, with the main character that you end up showing, Mitsumi, this big country city girl who seems to have it all at the beginning, who wants to become the mayor and run the country to a better place. But then you realize that although she may kind of seem like she's book smart, she's not really all there in a sense for the big city, because she's a country bumpkin, right? So she's always run into a lot of issues. She's very naive to a lot of things that are happening. And so she misses a lot of social cues where, like, some girls are kind of being rude to her or trying to be standoffish, but since she doesn't pick up on that, it just kind of flies over her. And then they realize, kind of in a sense, that she's not really that bad of a person that they think that was trying to be a stuck up or whatever. They just realize that she's just this innocent girl that really doesn't know much of what's actually happening in this world. And they kind of start becoming friends with her and helping her in this world, right? And as we go along, and with her new group of friends, of course, Shima-kun, I think we called him. We started to learn a lot about him, and he seems to be the biggest influence on Mitsumi at this point. And now we learned a lot about what's happened to him and why he's still standoffish and doesn't take things too serious in his life right now. But like I said, I didn't see the last episode or anything, so I don't know how that's going to end. But it seems that he's going to be put into this large test at the end of the series. Do you have anything to add, Vinny?
This is fundamentally a coming of age series with a involving high school rom-com. It's shoujo series with very broad appeal that crosses gender that typically doesn't. There's a couple series like that happen every once in a while. So, From Me to You, I believe is one. The older example would be like Nodame Cantabile, that has a really good appeal for both men and women. And I think this series falls into that it's shoujo-esque centric, but it's rounded enough and the character is likable enough to have appeals to both gender. And the animator clearly did a wonderful job making this happen. It feels like reading manga that's coming at you in TV screen, but it's not lacking in any way. If anything, it's got the nice bold colors and the movements. So it was just fantastic to watch from the beginning to the end. And the first season ends with after the culture festival ends, and I believe if they pick up again, it's gonna jump into the second year of the school. If for anybody who's wants to watch school drama that's interesting and you want to see the everyday struggles of some of the characters, but not in a overly exaggerated ways, and to see how likable those your everyday characters are, this is definitely one of the series to watch. It's just wonderfully done to my eyes.
All right. Anything to add, Dragon? Or
I don't know, cause I mean I've been enjoying it, but I haven't caught up to it. But I've thoroughly been enjoying this one. I think it's just another one of those, like, if you want, like, there is drama, but like it's kind of one of those, like, you just, like, if you don't want like any of like the usual like action anime and you just want more slice of life, like, go for it, skip and loafer. It's very I'd say this one's like a very, like, this is a slice of life that doesn't have romance. And if you just want purely slice of life, like, this is definitely one to go for.
all right. Let's go to the next show. I'm gonna pick up a little more speed here so we can get through these last few titles. What is this? I don't remember this. Tengoku Dai Makyo?
Name?
That one is for Albert.
What is this? Actually, don't even remember seeing this.
Yeah, that's because it was on Disney Plus and or Hulu.
Okay,
So
that's right.
you
Yeah.
may not have gotten a lot of subtitled options. Thank, we're still getting a lot of noise from your every time your mic is on.
Give me a second.
So
Let me lower something. Okay.
So anyway, Tengoku Daimekyo, or Heavenly Delusion, was based on the manga, and it was adapted by A1 Pictures, which is back to doing some interesting post-apocalyptic sci-fi. So the story is split into two parts. One part is some sort of facility, appears to be underground, with these kids that find out they all seem to have some sort of special ability. Eventually revealed that what they call babies do not look like human babies. And the adults running the place seem to be some sort of secret organization. The other part is following two characters, Kiruko and Maru, who are wandering a post-apocalyptic Tokyo. Something happened. They don't explain what. And then there are these monsters that eat people that are also roaming around. And they are trying to find a place called Heaven that Maru is supposed to go to. And Kiruko is his guide / guardian. So it's interesting premise. You are not quite sure how the two stories intersect, and around the middle, you're told that one of the children in the facility, Tokyo, is supposed to eventually meet someone that looks like him, and Maru looks like him. Well, I should say they, technically, at that point. So, looks like them. And a lot of the characters look gender ambiguous on purpose. And there's a whole mystery of how the two stories will eventually intersect. It was a 13-episode adaptation. And at the end of it, you do, I kind of guessed, and I was correct about how the timelines do intersect. And there are characters that will eventually appear in the other timeline. So, yeah, it's interesting. The story is not finished. The manga, I believe this 13 episodes of anime adapted 6 volumes of the manga. There are currently 9 volumes out. So it may be a little while before a second season is greenlit. But it was very well done. Had high production values. I enjoyed the characters. It can be pretty dark at times. There is a thing about gender identity and gender dysphoria, so keep that in mind. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed an interesting science fiction adaptation. So it's a strong recommend for me.
All right. Hopefully we can find it out there, easily available for other platforms. Like, I know Crunchyroll gets a lot of cross stuff,
it's not
right?
on Crunchy, but it is on Hulu. Or at least I was told it was on Hulu.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go look and see if I can find it. I don't know if I have Hulu. I'll have to check it out. Seems very interesting. Next up, I'm going to skip this next one, the Tensai Kizoku, whatever isekai in its name. It's a really long title. Wasn't really that great. I watched the manga, and I loved the manga, and I wanted to watch this and hopefully be happy about it. Failed. They changed a lot of scenes, which I think it's typical of anything, but they changed it in a way that I didn't feel pleased with it. And then they did a lot of montages on a lot of other stuff that just skipped a lot of information. So I was like, yeah. So we'll just go to the next one. Tonikaku Kawaii. Is this the second season, right?
Yes, the second season.
I never finished the first one.
Oh.
Anyone have anything to say about it?
Oh, I think if you watched the first season and you liked it, you're most likely gonna watch Tonikaku Kawaii season 2. I will say that I feel like the atmosphere of this was a lot different than the first season, and that because it, we're in a period where they've been together a little bit longer. So now instead of the more kind of like soft, kind of wholesome romance, they're kind of delving into like the more like, I guess, lewder part of their marriage, and it's just a different vibe than the first season, I'll say.
All right.
But I finished it. I think this had a great opening. And by that, I don't mean just the song, but the entire animation sequence, because you were given hints about, you were given hints about her backstory, and it kind of shows that she's probably the inspiration from Princess Kaguya, the actual story, if not the person. And the OP animation sequence is really wonderful. So I did not skip it. It's one of the few OPs I watched every single time. Really enjoyed it. There's a little bit more story evolving with her backstory and Tokiko, her guardian, because she is supposed to be young, but you pretty realize that she's been perpetually young. So yeah, that whole thing was interesting, and if there is a season 3, I will watch it because it's cute.
All right. I didn't even notice Jessica left us. Bye-bye, Jessica. Have a safe trip.
She made a
wrapped up in your own shenanigans.
Say again?
You're so selfish, Tank. You're so selfish.
I don't have Discord up, so I didn't see her message.
Oh.
I feel bad. I just now looked at it because I'm usually looking at the title screens and everything. I didn't notice she was missing on the table, and until now I was like, wait, where'd she go? My bad. Next up is this show. I actually watched a little bit later and found it really fun, but then once it got to the midway point, the fun was gone. Which was the how do you say it? Watashi no yuri wo oshigoto desu. And
It's my job.
yeah, Yuri is my job. I thought the beginning of it was really fun, and once it resolved that conflict of why the sisters hated each other so much, I just didn't feel like it would be any more interesting. So, is there anything more Did anything more interesting happen, or?
I don't know, because I didn't really continue. Like, I probably did one episode after where we left off, Tank. And so I don't really know if anything else great happened.
Okay, well, I'll have to talk to Jessica later on then, because I guess she was the one that watched it all. So we'll just skip that and go to the next one. My bad. I thought you watched more of it, so.
I watched like a couple episodes after where we left off, but I haven't like really continued it that far. I just remember like kind of got like the last thing I remember was like we finding out the friend being kind of like stalkerish, and then that's all I remember left.
So next up we got Yamada-kun to level 9999 no koi wo suru. This was definitely a show I would not have watched if not for the group. I didn't have any interest in this. It didn't seem like it was going to be my cup of tea. And I would say I was kind of correct.
I'm happy to strong arm it.
I'm happy. I mean, I'm going to admit, I probably wouldn't have watched it on my own. It didn't really seem that great of a thing to me, but I honestly can't say it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't great.
I have to give you credit, Tank.
Why?
Because you let me run the first 2 weeks of a spring season, I just decided I'm gonna watch it. Everybody's gonna watch with me. That's how it happened this season with a lot of them.
Well, yeah, I was on vacation. But like, I never saw the last episode of this one either. So like, I know there's the near the end there's the who is Yamada going to choose kind of feeling to it, right? Even though he hasn't been given really that choice yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that last episode is probably going to give us the conclusion of that, but I guess my only question would be is, without giving me the answer, does it have an actual conclusion where it's like, this is an over show, or is it going to be like, cliffhanger, we're going to watch a season 2?
No, there's an ending. There's a proper closure.
Okay, that's all I needed.
Mm-hmm. All I can say is that the strawberry farmer is the best character.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I was gonna say the best character is the strawberry farmer guy. Oh, he's so funny. I like him a lot.
Towards the end of the series, it was at the last episode, or second to the last episode. He comes out to be far more interesting or important character than what was led to believe. It's almost like watching the old commercial was that the world's most interesting man.
Oh my goodness.
He gave out that vibe. I'm like, holy crap.
I will say that I really liked him in that one episode where what's the girl's name? It starts with a K, right? Or Akane, right? Isn't that her name? Akane goes and meets someone, and then the strawberry farmer guy's like coming up to the guy's like, what did you do to her?
Yeah.
I will always love that part. That was my favorite scene. Oh my god.
That was when Luna set her up, right?
Yeah.
So basically, the
Uh,
show started with heartbreak, right? And then she happened
Yes.
to chance upon Yamada, and then through this interaction, it slowly grew to a great friendship, and maybe something more. By the end, I don't know.
Well, you watch the last episode and you'll know.
Bless you.
I'm sorry. Oh, I only muted for the YouTube thing. Sorry. I forgot to mute for you guys. So no one else heard that sneeze. But other than that, yeah, just it like I said, it wasn't my type of show. But overall it was decent, and I don't know if I would recommend it to anyone because I don't have too many friends that are into this type of show in real life. Do you guys have anyone that you would say is easily recommendable? Well, hey, my friends are the type that said, "Hey, Mashu seems like a great show" when they saw the first episode.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We watched the Marshall first episode too, just because it was such a wacky show.
But you didn't think it was going to be great from that, did you?
No. It's just like writing was on the wall, and all it did at the end was make me cry over why in God's name A1 decided to pick up the series and create this god awful mess. Meanwhile, they're still falling on the Neo Automata.
You know what? You know why Mass Shell failed?
Because it's a terrible series.
Because it wasn't an isekai.
No. Oshinoko is not an isekai series. Gundam is not an isekai series. You cannot just throw isekai as an answer to everything.
No, only when it's fantasy, I'm saying. But
Oshinoko did have reincarnation.
You're right. Damn it. It happened too early, so I forgot. But yes, you're right.
But I think that should be it for today, right? I think we went through everything.
Yeah.
Out of all the shows we have on here, there's quite a bit dropped. Like, I was once summoned to an alternate world. Something weird like that. What was another big drop show? Oh, the Megami no Cafe Terrace. I'm surprised I didn't finish that, even though that was like the ecchi show this season, right?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah.
He has boobies everywhere.
But are there any shows you guys are going to try to finish before continuing on, or is everything going to be left where it is?
Gonna try to catch up on the Tengoku Daimakyo and the Idol Master, only because I like Idol Master series too much to keep up on it. And aside from the questionable age group, and my god, it is highly questionable, show is a very wonderfully drawn. It's just a pity that they pick up the wrong subject.
What about
I
Gialbert?
think I need to finish Skip and Loafer. Yeah.
All right. What about you, Albert?
I will finish the two shows I haven't finished yet, which is Birdie Wing and Insomniacs After School.
All right. Out of curiosity for Birdie Wing, is it just continuation of the first one that you have to watch it, or is it like a whole new thing?
No, it's a direct continuation. But the yeah, like I said previously, it's not the standard sports golf. You know, it's about golf, but it's not about golf. This is essentially a shonen battle anime in golf, women's golf format.
So, would
I
you
know
say,
it sounds weird, but when you watch it, you will understand.
So would you say it's kind of over exaggerated, like Prince of Tennis when it comes to tennis?
You know, I've never watched Prince of Tennis, but I bet it is. But I really enjoy this show. So I just haven't finished because I was trying to finish up all the others, and then the new season started, and now there's a Japanese anime podcast I do listen to. They're going to be covering this in a week, so I will be finishing this up in this next week, so I can listen to it spoiler free.
Okay, well, for some reason I have this strong urge to really want to watch it, but
I mean, I think it's a great show. I really do.
all right, I'm going to give it a try because like I just feel like there's something there, but for some reason it just something's making me like, do I really want to watch golf? But okay, we'll give it a try.
Like I said, if you think it's about just golf, it's really not.
And with that,
Sounds like a hot-blooded action thing in the guise of a golf.
okay, and with that,
Pretty
I
much.
think we're at the end of
I think
the
that's it.
our list. So thank you everyone for watching. Neo, we see you there chatting about saying a bunch of really weird stuff. Sorry we couldn't talk about your favorite anime, Mashal. You know you love it. So hopefully next time you can join us and spread your love for that show. This new season, I feel like it's a lot of continuations of stuff, so I don't know how happy I'm going to be with it. So join us, and I think there's a movie coming out next week, right, in theaters with Psycho-Pass,
Oh, really?
right?
Okay.
I think it was.
I don't
I
know.
mean, right now I think there's Ghibli Fest that's going on too. So Nausicaa is playing this today and on Tuesday, I think, and Lapita will be playing really soon.
Oh.
You'll have to go to G Kids to find out. And as for Psycho-Pass, I'm not sure, but I think it is real soon.
I think I
I
saw.
have very mixed feelings about Psycho-Pass, so
I think it said the 15th or something. I just got a small notification when I went on Crunchyroll one day, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Good. I never saw the series, so I'm probably not going to go watch it. But
Me too.
We'll see, because sometimes it doesn't follow the story, and it's just fun on its own. So, other than that, thank you once again, everyone here. Jessica left a little early. Sorry, forgot I missed you. But I hope everyone has fun and gets ready for the summer season. And we'll probably be back in, what do you guys say, the 30th? Or should we go ahead and start next month on the 6th?
I think 30 is far.
yeah, 30th should be fine for me.
All right, so we'll meet everyone back here on the 30th, and hopefully we'll have plenty of shows. I know some people are really excited about announcements that are coming out in the future,
Yeah.
but this season, hopefully there's enough to provide us with ample entertainment. Goodbye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.